Jackals and African wild dogs, two canids that share the same continent but live completely different lifestyles. One is a scrappy trickster of folklore. The other is a symbol of unity and teamwork. Today we will explore their biology, their behavior, and the myths that surround them. Let's start with jackals. Smaller than wolves, usually around 8 to 15 kilos, they come in three species: golden, black-backed, and side-striped. They are highly adaptable and cunning. Jackals thrive in deserts, forests, and grasslands. If there's food around, they'll find a way to get it. They are opportunists, hunting small prey, eating fruits, or grabbing leftovers from lions and leopards. You can think of them as nature's freeloaders, but clever freeloaders. And despite the sneaky reputation jackals have, they are actually quite loyal partners. They mate for life, raise pups together, both the mother and the father, and even recruit older siblings to help with babysitting. A family operation in the wild, so to speak. Culturally, jackals hold a special place in ancient Egypt. For example, the god Anubis, protector of the dead, was often shown with the head of a jackal. Of course, you may wonder why. Well, that's because jackals were often seen around graveyards, scavenging what humans saw as spooky. They turned into divine symbolisms later on. Now let's meet their much larger cousins, the African wild dogs, also called painted wolves. These aren't scavengers, they're hunters. And not just any hunters. With a nearly 80% success rate, their pack hunts are amongst the most efficient and successful in the animal kingdom. Seriously, 80% success rate is genuinely impressive. While jackals survive with cunning, wild dogs survive on cooperation. They live in big packs, sometimes 20 strong, each member working together like clockwork. Think of them as a marathon runner of the savannah. And unlike many predators, African wild dogs show remarkable care for each other. The injured, the old, and the young are fed by the group. To many cultures, they symbolize community and unity, strength in numbers, so to speak. So there's the contrast. The jackal, often cast as the sly trickster in folklore, surviving through wit and opportunity. The African wild dog, the painted wolf, representing teamwork, loyalty, and shared strength. Both tell us something about how humans have seen survival, either through brains or through cooperation. Even their voices differ. Jackals howl, yip, and bark to defend territory and keep in touch with their families. African wild dogs, however, they chirp and twiddle like birds do to cooperate the hunt. It's like one is sending clever riddles while the other one is running a live group chat. Now let's talk about what makes African wild dogs such legendary hunters. Unlike big cats that rely on strength and ambush, wild dogs rely on teamwork, endurance, and strategy. First, they hunt in packs, sometimes up to 20 members, working together. They don't stalk silently like lions do. Instead, they openly chase their prey, using sheer stamina to wear it down. Think of it as a marathon rather than a sprint. And here's the clever part, they coordinate during the hunt. Some dogs chase the prey straight on while others circle around it to cut off escaping potential. If one gets tired, the other one will take its place. It's like a relay race, but with teeth. And the result is an 80% hunting success rate. To put that into perspective, lions success less than half of the time. The difference is strategy and teamwork. And when they do succeed, it's not just the hunters who get to eat. African wild dogs are famous for feeding their pups first, and even regurgitating food for the sick or injured members. So their success doesn't just come from the hunt itself, it also comes from the care that they show for each other afterwards. So while jackals rely on cunning and solo scavenging, wild dogs rely on persistence, coordination, and pack loyalty. Two very different strategies, but both perfectly tuned to survive in the African wild, which is famously very unforgiving and harsh. From ancient myth to modern savannas, jackals and wild dogs show us two very different sides of the canid story. One, the cunning trickster, and the other, the noble team member. But both are masters of survival. Another aspect that makes this so cool in my opinion is the fact that the African wild dogs are using a strategy that is very similar to what ancient humans did, which is persistence hunting. It's not that we don't get tired at all, we do. The difference is that it takes us a while to get tired, and we are able to sweat, which essentially helps us regenerate a certain amount of energy and release heat. Unlike our prey, which is not able to sweat and thus is not able to get rid of excess heat and regenerate some level of energy while also running at the same time. As a result, we can just simply keep walking, keep chasing until they become so exhausted or so overheated that they just collapse and they have to accept their fate. Which is, again, very similar to how humans survived in the ancient times, primitive humans. So in that regard, it's actually very cool to see a different animal adopt the same strategy. But yeah, that's about it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you again later some other time. Goodbye!